If you're going to be in here, you need to be quiet. Don't look at him. Nala. Out. Okay. So my sister told me that I didn't introduce myself in episode 1. So let's start episode 2 by introducing myself. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Meg. I am a gym owner. I own a gym called Lift HQ in Sandgate. We've been open for 1.5 years now, not almost 2 years, but yeah, 1.5 years. So things are going well with business. I will get into all of that over the next couple of episodes, but let's do a little 1 minute. I've got 1 minute. We've decided 1 minute to introduce myself because I could talk to a brick wall underwater. So Aaron, my producer, young Aaron, is going to put a 1 minute timer on, and I need to introduce myself within 1 minute. So here we go. And 1. So my name is Meg. I was born and raised in Vegas. I was a diligent worker in primary school. I remember my report cards always said conscientious learner, but gets distracted easily. So I've always had a little bit of a scatterbrain. But anyway, born and raised in Brisbane. I moved to Sydney when I was freshly 21. Like I'm talking, I was 21 for about 4 days before I moved to Sydney with my friend Alex, who was my housemate down there as well. And I was in Sydney for about a year before moving down south to Wollongong, because of a little person in my life called Aaron. So I met him when I was in Sydney and then moved down to Wollongong. We were down there for probably 5 or 6 years, and then by the time we moved back, we had a house down there, we were engaged, we had 2 dogs, but yeah, moved back to Brisbane to be closer to my family and to for a job as well, so that's pretty cool. My purpose in life, okay, I've been given the stop now, but anyway, I'm going to keep going. So a pivotal thing that happened in my life was in 2013, my granddad passed away by suicide. So that is absolutely a big reason why I am the person that I am today, why I'm doing what I am today, and just has 100% shaped me to be the me that you see now. So we will 100% get into that over the coming episodes, but that was really a massive turning point in my life, a big change for me personally. So that was in 2013. What else do you need to know about me? I genuinely believe my purpose in life is to help people realize that they are, worthy of everything that they want. They deserve to have everything that they want, and just to live a better life physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that kind of thing. So I am always so grateful that I get the opportunity to show people that. But anyway, I'm about 2 minutes in now, I'm assuming. So last thing is I love margaritas. In episode number 1, I touched on this. So a huge reason why I'm doing what I'm doing with this podcast is to rid myself of any self-doubt and that feeling of inadequacy that is just constantly looming in my mind forever and ever. I think it's funny because I feel like to the outside world looking in, it probably doesn't seem like I have huge self-confidence issues and self-doubt issues. But I feel like people think that it's all humming along nicely internally and externally as well. But, what I hope by talking about this in this episode in particular is that, it's proof that on days where you might be filled with self-doubt and you might be thinking that you're just so undeserving of everything that's happening to you, you can still show up for yourself. You can still show up for yourself. You can still show up for those around you. And, it's okay to not always be bouncing off the walls, living, laugh and love and life, but you can still show up. And that's what's the most important thing, I believe, as well. So let's go back to the start of all of this, okay? So, why am I so doubtful on myself? And I feel like this podcast is a massive part in this self-discovery journey that I'm going on, with myself at the moment. Everything that's happening at the moment or has happened over the last 6 months, I kind of just stop and think like, why have I reacted the way that I've reacted? Why has that person reacted the way that they've reacted? Why am I doing things the way I'm doing? All of that kind of thing. And I just like to have a moment to reflect on why. And I feel like knowing why you've, for example, reacted to something the way that you have helps you to not do that in the future or to kind of explain it a little bit better in the future as well. But again, we can get into that. But I have been thinking about the self-doubt issue and where that has stemmed from. And I'm a big believer that a lot in your life will stem from your former years, of course. And as a child, I honestly had a really good childhood. We have an incredibly strong family unit. Everything was good. We, went on holidays as a family. We played lots of sport. We had a loving extended family. We were always at our cousin's house. Like, everything was really good there. If I look back and I think about where this self-doubt issue could have come from, is that I played hockey as a kid, and I played hockey probably from when I was 4 through to maybe like 11, 12, 13. I actually ruptured my ACL on the playground at primary school. Patrick, I think his name was spinning around on the playground, and Patrick pulled my arm, yanked me out of the way, and my leg like locked back and I twisted, and anyway, hurt my knee, and I was in a splint for about 6 months. But anyway, that's why I stopped playing hockey. I forgot what I was talking about that. But that's why I stopped playing hockey. So anyway, I played hockey for years and years and years without tooting my own horn. I was very skilled at it. I was very good at it. I loved it so much, but I just never, ever got selected for a representative team. And it used to eat me alive. I used to go in with such confidence in my skill. All my coaches would say I was amazing. I would score lots of goals. Like, everyone around me was always hyping me up. I was always feeling so confident in my ability as well. But I would just never get selected for these rep teams. And there were always girls in front of me that got selected. And I just always felt like I knew that I was good enough. I knew that I was deserving to be on those teams, but I was just never recognized for it, and I was never selected for those teams. And I feel like I was never seen to be good enough by the people that mattered. So, I think that that's definitely where it stems from. Even as a PT, I was, mocked and ridiculed, called Zivka shit. My PT brand was Zivka Fit. I was called Zivka shit. I would put programs out and it would be made fun of. And, maybe it was in jest, maybe it was super lighthearted, but, that stuff like that does start to eat away at your mindset towards things, especially if you're, apprehensive or it's outside of your comfort zone. So, I was always lucky to be supported by the people that really mattered, and, my bosses and, people that I looked up to within the industry. But, and I always, focused on reminding myself of the fact that I was, deserving of being in that position, and I was doing a good job, and I was making a positive impact on people's lives. So I think that's, a little bit of like background as to how I got to, where I was. And now as well in life, deep down, I know that I'm deserving. I know that I've worked my fucking ass off to be in the position that I'm in with my business, personally, all that kind of thing. But I always just feel the need to like pipe down, and just wait my turn, because there's no way that I, little old Meg, who's only been in this industry for only 5 years, which is also a long time nowadays, but I've only been in this industry for 5 years. How could I possibly be in a position to empower people and educate people? So just shut up and let people that actually know what they're talking about do it. Like, that's the things that go through my mind, and it's so horrible. And even saying it out loud now on this, I'm like, it's so horrible to myself to think that and to verbalize it. But that's the reality sometimes, is that's how critical and how doubtful of myself that I can get from time to time. So yeah, I think that's a little bit of the background and of, why I feel the way that I feel these days. But do I feel doubt these days? Yes, 100%. I'm not going to sit here and say that, I don't at all. But where does that come from? Maybe, I think I've never really articulated this out loud, so forgive me if I fuck this up. But I'm not going to sit here and say that my transition into this fitness industry has been easy at all. But I also, feel like it has been a lot easier than others may have found it, because of my business background. I was in the corporate industry for 11 years, operations manager for a big portion of that. When I came into this industry, I had a background in business. So to then transition into this industry and get to run my own business, and I feel like that side of it has been a lot easier than others might find it, because of all that experience that I've had. So, I see other people struggling and really slogging it out, and see the years and years of hard work that they've put in. And I feel like because I haven't had to do that, because of the experience and the knowledge that I've already got, I feel like maybe that's why I need to just take a back seat and let them take the wheel for a second, because they deserve it, because they've really like put in the hard yards for it. But yeah, I think that that's, if I was to reflect on it and think about it, I think that that's kind of where it all has stemmed from, and why I feel the way that I feel these days. For example, I'm sure there's lots of other reasons why, but haven't really gotten to those internally yet. But I think it's important now that I'm talking about this to kind of also talk about how I get myself out of that mindset these days, because I feel like I'm in a good position with it these days. I'm putting myself out there with this podcast. I'm talking about it really openly as well. So some things that I do to kind of, shift the mindset and flick that switch these days is, like I mentioned in episode 1, although there's a million people, can you hear the bass in that car? Can you hear it in the microphone? Oh, okay. Although there's a million people that have been in it for the long haul and a lot longer than I have, I still have an incredible amount of hands-on experience for only being in the industry for 5 years. From September 2020, when I started PTing, to September 2024 last year, when I really wrapped up PTing for good, I was regularly booked out with 70 to 80 weekly PT clients for more than a year, for close to 2 years when I had that PT studio. I counted for a reel the other day. I've done over 7,000 one-on-one PT sessions in that small amount of time. The ebooks, the programs, the events, the workshops, the seminars, the retreats, the challenges, all the content that I put out there, the face-to-face support that I put out there, the relationships that I've built, the relationships that I've nurtured, all of that is a testament of the effort that I put in, and proof that I have put in that effort and that I am deserving of being where I am. The fact that we could open a gym with, just shy of 200 members on day one that's all of that is proof that I have put in the work and that I do deserve to be where I am today. And I remind myself of that when I'm starting to feel those moments of doubt. I remind myself of all of the work that I have done to get to where I am today in the fitness industry, but also prior to the fitness industry as well. At the moment, I don't think that self-doubt fully ever go away, but I definitely know that it's more an internal mindset that you can definitely work on and you can definitely improve. But I feel like, my perspective in that has definitely changed over the years. I feel, once upon a time, I probably would have been trapped to the idea of self-doubt and not let myself progress any further because of the doubt that I had in myself. But these days I'm like, no, it's just a mindset. It's just internal. These are the reasons why you shouldn't doubt yourself. And it's time to just keep moving forward and keep putting yourself in a position to move forward and away from that. I used to use the excuse of imposter syndrome a lot as well, and I hear that word so much online. I would always reference having imposter syndrome a lot, and if I was ever nervous about something, or if I was ever doing something and doubted myself, if I was in a really uncomfortable situation kind of thing, I would always blame imposter syndrome. But when I thought about it, I was like, the more I matured and the more I reflect, I was like, I don't know if I want to believe in imposter syndrome anymore. If I think about the times that I felt it in the past, it's usually because, I feel nervous, or I feel, that I'm in this zone of discomfort, or, I'm underprepared about something that I'm meant to be presenting or doing. Like in the past, I felt that I've had imposter syndrome when delivering, for example, challenge seminars. And, I always reflect on the way that I present these seminars. And in the end, I would say to myself, I'm not good enough to do this. I fucked that up. I didn't say that right. I doubt absolutely everything that I've said. I feel the need to redo everything that I've just done. I feel the need to message all of the clients that were on the receiving end of the seminar and say, I'm really sorry that was so bad. I'm going to redo it and I'm going to re-record it and blah, blah, blah. But over the years, obviously, I've built confidence. I believe in the product that I'm presenting and providing to my clients more and more every single day. It's something that I've worked so hard on personally, and I'm just so, confident in it and the impact that it's going to provide to the people on the receiving end. And so, for example, last week we did a challenge seminar for the current challenge clients. And do you remember what I said to you after the seminar finished?
I believe you said something along the lines of, I fucking nailed that.
Yes, I did. I literally said, I fucking nailed that. That was awesome. And I had a little moment on the lounge afterwards, and I was like, you know what? Good on you. You have gone through years of getting off these calls and presentations and thinking that you've fucked it up completely, but relish in this moment. Like, be proud of yourself that you've gotten to a point in your life, personally and professionally, that you can be really proud of what you've just done. So, I was just really proud of that. So anyway, I know that imposter syndrome is a feeling that is really, really common, but from my personal experience, I really encourage you, if you do feel like you are, feeling imposter syndrome, or you feeling that self-doubt, I really encourage you to feel to reflect on why you might be feeling that way. For me, to build my self-confidence and to get out of my own head and to rid myself of that self-doubt and that feeling of inadequacy, I'm doing this podcast, and I will continue to remind myself every single day that I am deserving of it. I've put in the work and that I'm in the position that I'm in because of the efforts that I've put in over the last couple of years, in and out of the fitness industry, corporate industry, all of that kind of thing. But I also wanted to take a moment to remind you guys as well that you are also deserving of the life that you're living. And if you are also feeling doubt within yourself, reflect on why you might be feeling that way. For me, a huge part of it in the past has been that I've been underprepared. I've lacked confidence in what I'm doing. So have a moment to reflect, respect yourself enough to have that moment to reflect on why you might be feeling the way that you're feeling. And above all else, just remind yourself that you do deserve to be here and you deserve to be doing amazing things like you are. And so before we wrap that up, I wanted to extend the offer. If anyone is feeling like they want to chat about self-doubt, imposter syndrome, anything like that, I am always open to having these conversations. I feel like it would be better to have the conversation with someone than to a camera. So I would like to encourage you to reach out to me via DM or anything like that. I'm more than happy to have a chat with you about it, because I think it's very important to get out of your own head. And for me, that's this podcast. And for you, it might be having a chat with me on Instagram. But let's get into some more fun stuff. So we've got some funny segments planned for this podcast, and one of them that we're going to do is called Spicy Takes. Now that is a little play on words for one of the classes that we have at the gym called Spicy, but mainly, just random opinions of mine that might ruffle some feathers from time to time. So let's see how we go. But my first spicy take that I wanted to bring up, and this is for all of my corporate guys and gals out there, and something that was rampant when I was in the corporate industry, was meetings that could have been emails. And I feel like a lot of the time those meetings, if I was to really think about it, a lot of the time those meetings are for people to just stroke their own ego, to prove that they're doing work, to make it look like they're doing work. I mean, obviously I've been out of action in the corporate industry for a while, but the amount of pointless meetings that were had is just unnecessary, just absolutely unnecessary. Oh, and one more actually that I thought of the other day is, I put this on my close friends actually, I think last night or the night before. This is quite niche. This is quite niche for anyone who, doesn't have 6-figure business coaches on their Instagram. But I, for one, am so fucking sick and tired of seeing these business coaches online promising and promoting getting their clients 60K months, 80K months, ramp up to 100K months. I'm sorry. What if I have a product that I sell for $1? Are you telling me that I'm now selling 60,000 units of that product in a month? Anyway, that's my rant on that. But immediate ick, goodbye. Do you know what? I was working with a business coach. Oh, I don't know if I should say that. I had mentioned that I was thinking of opening a gym, face-to-face gym, blah, blah, blah. And they said to me, you shouldn't do that. That's not where the money is. The money is in the online coaching space. And I was like, okay, but there's like a whole community of people out there that don't know about online coaches. Maybe they want that face-to-face connection. Also, I've just had a very successful PT studio where I'm booked out every single week. I think I know that there's people wanting face-to-face connection and coaching and community. So I think I'll keep rolling with it. Also, goes without saying, but it's not about the money. But anyway, yeah, I feel like people that are just like purely in the online space, they just forget and neglect the fact that there's like actual people out there that want that face-to-face connection, that community, that interaction, and just, the physicality, So anyway, well, this has been pretty fucking fun if you ask me. I hope that was inspiring in some way. I'm going to have a guest on within the next 2 episodes, which is going to be very, very fun. I'm very excited about that. I'm also excited because we're going to Sydney for the UFC in 2 sleeps, which is very, very fun, which is going to be our last little vacay for a while, big dog. So we're going to knuckle down for the rest of the year. But yeah, otherwise, lots on, but it's always fun, always grateful to be doing what we're doing and having a positive impact on people's lives in one way or another. So thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you next time on With Meg. Bye.